Welcome to the Cryptid Multiverse. Vampire bats, fungal fighters, and mechanized mothmen. These are just some of the cryptids you might encounter in a game of Wyrdwarp. Play cryptids to one of two rows on the battlefield and use their abilities to attack your opponent's cryptids or advance your own game plan. Equip your beast with mighty relics like the drill gauntlets that give them new abilities. Summon wonders that can call upon ancient powers to smite your foes, and play tactical cards to change the tides of battle so that you end with more might on your side of the battlefield and win the encounter. Win 2 battles to take the whole match. Wyrdwarp! They also sponsored this video. Thank you. In Wyrdwarp, there are 4 types of cards: cryptids, relics, wonders, and tactical cards. Cryptids are your main fighting force as well as your primary way to gain might, which is shown in the upper left-hand corner of the card. In the top right of the card, they have a health stat. If they accumulate damage equal to or greater than their health, that happens. Some cryptids also have armor, which is located right below the health stat. It reduces any incoming damage by the indicated amount. Speaking of damage, the middle text box is where any attacks or abilities reside. Most cryptids have 2 of them. Some of them are attacks, some of them are passive features, and some of them are charge abilities. Under the card's might are its subtypes, which are passive abilities that do things like recover health at the start of a turn, or give the ability to block incoming attacks on your other cryptids. At the bottom of the card, you can find its type and its ancestry, which is what deck it belongs to. A few special cryptids are also immortal. If they are removed from the board, they come back, and they stay on the battlefield in between battles. Wonders are kind of like less mobile cryptids. They also provide might, have health, and have abilities. Relics are cards that are equipped to things on the field. They contribute might to their wielder and grant them additional abilities. Finally, we have tactical cards. These are the spell cards. You do what they say, and then they're sent to purgatory. That's Wyrdwarp's discard pile. I guess it's better than going to the underworld. Now that we know the card types, let's set up a game, which is pretty easy to do in Wyrdwarp. Each ancestry has its own fully constructed deck of 50 cards, and you just pick up the one you want to play. There are custom deck building rules if you want to get more competitive with it, but I'm not going to get into that here. When both players have their decks, give them a real good shuffle and then determine who goes first. You could roll a die. And whoever gets the highest number gets to choose if they want to go first or second. You could also decide by seeing which one of you could get photo evidence that a specific cryptid actually exists. I'm gonna go and try to find the Metal Man of Alabama. Once a first player has been decided, both players draw 5 cards. Then players will take short alternating turns until the end of the battle. On a player's first turn of a battle, they may discard any cards they don't want and then draw the same number of cards. This is Wyrdwarp's mulligan system. The player going second is going to see the first player's opening move before they decide what to keep or not, so better be careful what you throw out there. Then after that, there are 2 things you can do on your turn. The first one is playing a card from your hand. It's pretty easy. You take the card and you put it on the battlefield. Roll credits. On the battlefield, there is a front row and a back row. Each have 3 spaces that you can place cryptids or wonders in. The row you place a card into determines what it can attack or be attacked by, but we'll get back to that. Relic cards are played in the same spot as the card that they are equipped to, and a card can only have 1 relic equipped at a time. You also cannot destroy an equipped relic to equip a new one. Tactical cards don't go on the battlefield. You just do what they say, and then you throw them in the trash! I mean the purgatory. Much more existential. You can only play 1 card on your turn. 2 thou shalt not play, and 3 or greater is right out. Unless, of course, the card is reactive. These cards can either be played as an additional card on your turn or activated when their condition is met. Sometimes that's even on your opponent's turn. The other thing you can do on your turn is to use your cards to perform actions. Every card you control on the battlefield has 1 action per turn that can be used to enact one of the card's abilities, or if it's a cryptid, it can use its action to move. The most prevalent of card abilities are attacks. When you use a card's action to attack, first look at the attack's range. This determines how far back into the enemy lines you will be able to strike. Melee attacks can only target one row over, so you're gonna have to be in the front row to connect with an enemy using a melee attack. Ranged attacks can target 2 rows over, so a ranged attack from your front line could hit your opponent's back line, or your ranged attacker in your back line could attack your enemy's front line. And last but not least, there are sniper attacks, which can target 3 rows over, so a sniper in your back line can attack whatever it wants. When you initiate an attack, the attacker deals the attack's damage to the target. Damage is persistent in this game, so you're gonna have to find a way to track that. If a card ever has damage on it equal to or greater than its health, it's kilt and goes to purgatory. Oh. Any relics attached to that card are also sent to purgatory. If an immortal cryptid is defeated, it goes to the void instead, which is sort of like the removed from play zone in Wyrdwarp. We don't talk about the void unless a card mentions it. It's pretty spooky. Like I was saying earlier, other than attacking, every cryptid can move for their action, which just lets them move forward or backward from one row to another. Wonders can't move at all. They ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. Some cryptids have charge abilities, which means they can use their action to charge, which gives them a charge token. Once they have enough charge tokens to use their charge ability, they can use their action to remove the charge tokens and use the charge ability. Got me some drill gauntlets, baby. Some cryptids also have a stance ability, where they can use their action to turn sideways and activate a passive ability until your next turn. Players go back and forth playing cards and using their actions until someone either runs out of cards in their hand or decides not to play a card for their turn, which is considered folding. You might want to fold if the cards in your hand would be better served in the next battle. When you fold, you can't play any more cards for the battle unless they are reactive, but you can continue to use actions on cards that you've already played. Once both players have either folded or run out of cards, compare the might values for each player. The player with the most might has won the battle. It's not over yet though, there are more battles. Wyrdwarp has a built-in best 2 out of 3 system for its games. Before the start of the next battle, send all cards on the battlefield to their owner's purgatories aside from any immortal cryptids. They stay on the battlefield and keep any damage they previously had. Any defeated immortal cryptids also return to the battlefield from the void. Then determine who goes first in the next battle by going through the following list. First, whoever has more cards in their hand goes first. If the hands are equal, the player that has lost the most battles will go first. If both players have won a battle, then the player with the least cards on the battlefield goes first. And if that's somehow still equal, both players roll a d12 die and the player who rolls the highest goes first. After determining who goes first, if it's the second battle, both players draw 5 cards. If it's the third battle, however, both players only draw 3 cards. A little bit of a sudden death there. After drawing, both players discard down to 7 cards if they have more than that. The game goes on for up to 3 battles, stopping when a player wins 2 of them, becoming the multiversal mutilator of many monsters. The multiverse is filled with a variety of strange creatures, from cyber samurai to alien Anubites to man, tree-faced guy. Yeah. Wyrdwarp is an expandable card game coming to BackerKit in 2025, link in the description. They plan on releasing new ancestries and hybrid types in the future. They also want to inject some collectability into the expandable card model with some recolors and one-of-one altered promos for early supporters. I got a rage crawler with a fedora, my viewer. If you're looking for a unique game with a unique look, make sure to check this one out. I'm 2 Lanes the Card Game Crypt Man, and I'm out.